Captain Vell stared at the main screen of his ship with all four of his eyes wide open. In 40 years of flying through space, he had never seen anything like this. The empty blackness in front of them looked normal, but his ship's computers were going crazy. "Captain," called Navigator Kex from her control station. Her forearms moved quickly over the glowing buttons. "Something is very wrong with this space. Our sensors cannot see past this invisible wall. It goes on for 12 light years in every direction." Vell's bug-like head turned toward the display. The computer showed a huge round area of space that seemed empty, but the numbers said there were massive objects there. Heavy things that should bend space and time, but nothing showed up on their screens. "Run every test we have," Vell ordered. "Contact the home planet right now." The ship's smart computer began checking everything it could. Then something appeared that made everyone on the bridge go quiet. A small metal object suddenly showed up on their danger sensors. It was old and simple, nothing like the advanced ships they were used to seeing. The thing started sending out a message. The words appeared on their screen in bright red letters. "Warning, human Voidspace authorized personnel only." Nobody moved, nobody spoke. In all the long history of their space empire, which had lasted over 2 million years and included 47 different alien races, they had never heard the word human. Communications Officer Nix's voice was very quiet. "Captain, our translation computer doesn't know this language. It's having trouble understanding even the basic words. This is completely new." Vell looked at the small beacon through their long-distance cameras. It was clearly made by people who didn't have advanced technology. Simple metal pieces put together, basic power systems, and cheap engines, but it sat right at the edge of the most advanced space-bending technology they had ever found. The beacon looked like something a primitive civilization would build, the kind of people who had just learned to fly between planets. But behind, it was space that had been twisted and changed in ways that their best scientists said was impossible. "Sir," Kex called out again, "I'm finding 17 more of these warning beacons. They're placed evenly around this whole area. All of them are saying the same thing." "Stop the ship here," Vell commanded. "Send a secret message to our leaders. Tell them we found something that shouldn't exist." While his message traveled through hyperspace toward their capital planet, Vell kept staring at the simple beacon. It kept repeating its basic warning over and over like a guard dog that never got tired. But behind that simple warning was something that broke every rule of physics they knew. The beacon was made of common metals that any young civilization might use. Its power source was simple fusion energy. Its message system was basic radio waves. Everything about it screamed primitive technology. But it guarded an area of space that had been folded and twisted in ways that should take millions of years of scientific advancement to achieve. "Captain," Science Officer Talk said from her station, "I'm detecting some kind of dimensional folding in the space behind these beacons. The math doesn't work. According to our understanding of physics, this should be impossible for any species to create." Vell's compound eyes focused on the readings. The space beyond the beacon showed signs of being compressed, stretched, and folded like paper. Entire star systems seemed to exist in spaces smaller than a single planet should occupy. It was like someone had taken the normal rules of reality and rewritten them completely. "How advanced would a species need to be to do this?" he asked. Tox's tentacles waved nervously. "At least 10,000 years ahead of us, Captain. Maybe more. This is the kind of technology our best theories say might be possible someday, but we're nowhere close to actually building it." But the beacon that guarded this impossible space was clearly built by people who had barely learned to leave their home planet. It made no sense. It was like finding a mud hut guarded by weapons that could destroy entire galaxies. "Sir," Kex said, "should we try to go past the warning beacons?" Vell considered this carefully. His job was to explore new areas of space and make contact with new species. But something felt very different about this situation. Usually, when they found primitive species, those people were excited to meet advanced aliens. They wanted to learn and join the galactic community. These humans had put up warning signs. They had claimed territory and told everyone to stay away. That was not normal behavior for a species that had just learned to fly in space. "No," Vell decided. "We wait for orders from home. Something about this feels dangerous." The beacon continued, its simple message while space itself seemed to twist and bend behind it. Whatever these humans were, they had done something that should have been impossible. They had taken control of reality itself, and then put up a simple sign telling everyone to stay away. As Vel waited for his message to reach the capital, he couldn't shake the feeling that his discovery would change everything. The primitive beacon kept warning them away from space that had been changed in ways that challenged everything they thought they knew about the universe. 3 weeks later, the biggest war fleet in galactic history gathered at the edge of human space. 12 massive ships from 9 different alien species formed a careful circle around the strange area. Each ship carried the most advanced technology their civilizations had ever built. Dr. Rin stood on the command bridge of the main ship called Unity's Voice. Her tentacles moved nervously as she watched the battle displays. She was the best alien, expert in their empire, and her job was to make peaceful contact with new species. But she had never seen anything like this before. "All ships ready, Doctor," said Fleet Admiral Gex. His voice was confident, but his eyes showed worry. "Starting normal first contact procedures now." The plan was simple and had always worked before. They would approach with their powerful ships and broadcast peaceful messages. Every primitive species they had ever met was amazed by their technology and wanted to join their galactic civilization immediately. "Moving toward the warning beacons now," called the pilot. What happened next would be talked about in military schools for hundreds of years. When the fleet crossed an invisible line about 1,000 kilometers from the nearest beacon, space around them began to shimmer like water. Suddenly, 7 ships appeared from what had looked like completely empty space. These new ships were sleek and dangerous-looking, moving through the twisted space like sharks swimming through water. "Unknown vessels," came a voice speaking perfect Galactic Standard language. "You are entering restricted human territory. Tell us why you are here or leave immediately." Dr. Rin and her team looked at each other with shock. The voice hadn't come from the primitive beacons they could see. These new ships were using communication technology that should have been impossible for them to have. "This is Dr. Rin of the Galactic Confederation Science Division," she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. "We come in peace. We want to establish friendly contact with your species." "Dr. Rin," came the answer, and she could hear what sounded like laughter in the alien voice. "I am Commander Jiho of the UES Vindication. We know quite a bit about the Confederation already. Please follow our escort ship to the border station. And Doctor, welcome to what your people have been calling the impossible space." As the human ships began leading them toward a structure that definitely had not been there a moment before, Dr. Rin realized something that made her feel dizzy. These humans were not primitive at all. They had been watching the Confederation fleet approach for weeks. They had learned the galactic language during that time. They had prepared for this meeting. "How is this possible?" whispered Admiral Gex. "How did they know we were coming?" Commander Jiho's voice came through their communication system with clear amusement. "Admiral, we have been monitoring Confederation space traffic for over 200 years. Did you really think 12 large warships approaching our border would go unnoticed?" The human escort ship was unlike anything in their databases. It moved through space in ways that seemed to ignore the normal rules of physics. It could appear and disappear, change direction instantly, and travel faster than their sensors could track. "Dr. Rin," said Science Officer Nala, "I'm reading energy signatures from their ships that are completely unknown to us. Their technology is not just advanced, it's based on scientific principles we don't understand." As they followed the human ships, more impossible things began to appear. The border station materialized around them like a building growing from nothing. It was huge, clearly designed to handle many different types of alien visitors, and it existed in folded space that hurt to look at directly. "Commander Jiho," Dr. Rin said, "your people seem to know a great deal about us. How long have you been watching our civilization?" "Long enough to learn that first contact situations usually don't go well for the newer species," Jiho replied. "We decided to be prepared." Admiral Gex studied the tactical readings from the human ships. They showed weapon systems that could fire through folded space, shields that existed in multiple dimensions, and engines that could travel faster than anything the Confederation had ever built. "These are not the primitive people we expected to find," he muttered to Dr. Rin. "No," she agreed, watching as the border station completed its impossible construction around their ships. "They are something entirely different." The station's docking bays adjusted automatically to fit each of the 12 different ship designs in their fleet. Systems scanned their vessels and provided the exact atmospheric conditions each species needed to survive. Medical systems stood, ready with treatments for biological problems they might have. "Commander," Dr. Rin asked, "how do you know so much about our different species' needs?" "We have been watching and learning for a very long time, Doctor," Jiho answered. "We know about your people's breathing requirements, your food preferences, your cultural customs, and your political systems. We probably know more about the Confederation than most of your own citizens do." As their ships docked at the impossible station, Dr. Rin realized that everything they thought they knew about this first contact was wrong. The humans were not primitive. They were not surprised to meet aliens. They had been the ones watching and preparing. "Admiral," she said quietly, "I think we are not the ones making first contact. I think they are making first contact with us." The border station was impossible to understand. Dr. Rin walked through hallways that seemed to go on forever, even though the outside of the station looked much smaller. The walls curved in directions that made her eyes hurt, and rooms opened into spaces that should not have been able to fit inside the building. "Your people are feeling sick because of the dimensional shifting," Commander Jiho explained kindly as he led them through the strange corridors. "It takes time to get used to compressed space. We have medicine that helps with the dizziness." Ambassador Mina, the Confederation's top diplomat, held onto a wall that felt solid but looked see-through. "Commander, we must ask directly. How long has your species had this technology?" Jiho stopped at what looked like a simple door, but when it opened, they saw a huge meeting room that was much bigger than the entire station should have been. "Please sit down. This conversation needs some background information." As the alien delegation sat in chairs that automatically adjusted to fit their different body types, Jiho turned on a holographic display that showed the galaxy from a view none of them had ever seen before. 237 years ago, Jiho began, humanity learned how to travel faster than light and began exploring space near our home planet. Within 18 months, we found evidence of 7 different galactic civilizations. The display showed shipping routes, communication networks, and territory boundaries crossing the galaxy in patterns the Confederation had never known were visible to anyone. "We quickly realized that the galaxy was very crowded," Jiho continued. "More importantly, we studied how these civilizations dealt with new species that started traveling in space. The results were very frightening." Dr. Rin leaned forward. "What did you discover?" "In the past 10,000 years, 43 species have learned to travel between stars in this galaxy. Of those, 7 were immediately conquered and made into slaves. 16 were absorbed into existing empires as servant states. 12 were considered threats and completely destroyed. Only 5 were allowed to develop independently, and all 5 had to fight wars to earn that right." The hologram changed to show human space, but not the small territory they had thought they were looking at. Instead, it showed a vast network of connected pocket dimensions covering hundreds of star systems. "So we chose a different path," Jiho said simply. "We decided to hide." Admiral Jex's voice was barely a whisper. "Your entire civilization exists in folded space?" "Not just folded space," Jiho replied. "Compressed space-time, parallel dimensions, quantum-locked star systems, gravitational mazes. We have spent 2 centuries perfecting the art of existing without being noticed." Ambassador Mina stared at the display showing the true size of human space. "How many of you are there?" 17 billion humans across 43 star systems, all of which exist in spaces that technically do not appear on any normal sensor equipment. Jiho smiled, but his expression was sad. "We have been watching galactic civilization develop for over 2 centuries, learning your languages, monitoring your politics, studying your cultures. But this is the first time we have spoken to anyone." "Doctor." Rin felt her understanding of the universe completely change. "Why now? Why reveal yourselves to us?" "Because Jiho said. After watching you for so long, we think it might be time to stop hiding. The holographic display showed human cities existing in impossible spaces. Children played in parks where the sky showed swirling colors instead of stars. Massive space stations folded through dimensions that should not exist. Entire planets had been moved into pocket universes for safety. Your technology is thousands of years ahead of ours, said Science Officer Nala, studying the displays with amazement. In some ways, yes, Jiho agreed. But in other ways, we have fallen behind. When you spend all your time hiding, you stop taking risks. When you never meet new people, you stop learning new ideas. Our civilization has become very good at staying safe, but we have lost the ability to grow. Ambassador Mina looked at the images of human space. You could have conquered the entire galaxy with this technology. Why didn't you? Because conquest was never our goal, Jiho explained. Survival was our goal. We studied galactic history and saw that aggressive species eventually destroy themselves or are destroyed by others. We chose to disappear instead of fight. Dr. Rin examined the star charts showing human territory. You have been watching us study this area for weeks. You knew we would eventually find you. We knew this day would come eventually. Jiho nodded. The question was whether we would be ready for it, whether we would be brave enough to stop being afraid. The display showed human children looking at holographic programs about alien cultures they had never met. Human scientists working on problems they could never test in the real universe. Human artists creating works about experiences they had never had. Your people have sacrificed a great deal for safety, observed Ambassador Mina. Yes, Jiho said quietly. We have kept our species alive, but we have also kept them isolated. Our children grow up in artificial realities. Our scientists solve theoretical problems but cannot test them. Our culture has become frozen in time. Dr. Rin stood and walked to the impossible window that showed both folded human space and normal galactic space side by side. What do you want from us, Commander? Jiho joined her at the window. What we want, Doctor, is what we have always wanted but never dared hope for. The chance to not be afraid anymore. The tour of human space was carefully planned. Commander Jiho only showed them what he called the outer settlements, pocket dimensions that contained military bases and research facilities. Even these limited glimpses left the alien visitors completely amazed. Dr. Rin watched human children playing in parks where the sky showed swirling colors instead of stars. These young humans had never seen real starlight, never felt natural gravity, never met anyone who was not human. They lived in spaces where the laws of physics had been rewritten by their ancestors. They are beautiful children, she said to Dr. Seok, a human scientist who was showing them around. They are also trapped, Seok replied with clear sadness in his voice. Most of our younger generation has never experienced reality as it naturally exists. They have grown up in artificial spaces where we control everything, gravity, time, even the way light works. They walked through a massive city that floated in space but existed in 7 dimensions at the same time. Millions of humans lived and worked in buildings that folded in on themselves. The architecture was stunning, the technology was breathtaking, but something felt empty about it all. Dr. Seok, Ambassador Mina asked, "Do your people ever wonder what they are missing?" Seok stopped at a viewing platform where they could see the compressed space highway that connected human settlements across impossible distances. Ships appeared and disappeared as they traveled through folded reality. Every single day. Our poets write about stars they have never seen. Our children dream of alien friends they have never met. Our philosophers debate whether safety was worth the price of wonder. Admiral Gex studied the military installations they passed. He saw defensive structures that could appear anywhere in the galaxy within hours, weapons that could fire through folded space-time, and shields that existed in multiple dimensions. Your military capabilities are extraordinary. They had to be, Seok replied. When you are hiding an entire civilization, you need to be prepared for the day someone finds you. Every human settlement can defend itself or disappear completely, if necessary. Dr. Rin watched a group of human teenagers watching holographic shows about alien cultures from across the galaxy. They studied the programs with intense interest, learning about worlds and people they might never meet. You have been studying us all this time. Learning from you, Siak corrected her. Your literature, your music, your art, your histories. We know more about galactic civilization than most species know about their own neighbors. But knowing about something and experiencing it are very different things. They visited a human university that existed in compressed time, where students could live entire lifetimes of study in just a few months of normal time. The students were brilliant, but they looked tired and isolated. They had access to all the knowledge in the galaxy, but no one to share their discoveries with except other humans. This is amazing technology, said Science Officer Nala, but these students look lonely. They are lonely, Siak admitted. We all are. Imagine spending your entire life in a beautiful prison, knowing that there is a whole universe outside but being too afraid to open the door. As they traveled deeper into human space, the aliens began to understand the true cost of humanity's choice. They saw children who had never felt natural sunlight, scientists who could never test their theories in the real universe, and artists who created works about experiences no human had ever had. In one settlement, they met an elderly human woman named Grandmother Hana, who had been alive when the hiding began. She sat in a garden where artificial trees grew under an artificial sky, feeding artificial birds that sang songs programmed by computers. I remember real Earth, she told them quietly. I remember when we could see actual stars and feel real wind. We told ourselves we were saving humanity, but sometimes I wonder if we just preserved it like a flower pressed in a book. Beautiful, but no longer alive. Dr. Rin sat beside the old woman. Do you regret the choice your people made? Grandmother, Hana was quiet for a long time, watching the artificial birds. We saved our species from extinction. 17 billion humans are alive today because of that choice. But we also saved them from life. Our children have never felt danger, never experienced real discovery, never known the joy of meeting someone truly different from themselves. As they prepared to return to the border station, Ambassador Mina asked Dr. Siak the question that had been troubling all of them. What do your people want from us? Siak looked out at the compressed space highway, where human ships traveled to stars that existed in pockets of folded reality. Children played in parks that existed in impossible dimensions. Scientists worked in laboratories where time moved differently than in the outside universe. What we want, Ambassador, is what we have always wanted but never dared to hope for. The chance to let our children see real stars. The opportunity to share our discoveries with people who might think differently than we do. The possibility of friendship with beings who are not human. He paused, watching a young human girl try to catch one of the artificial birds. We want the chance to stop being afraid and start living again. But after 2 centuries of hiding, we have forgotten how to trust anyone but ourselves. The emergency meeting of the Galactic Confederation Council was unlike any in their long history. Representatives from 47 different species filled the great chamber, while holographic displays showed the true size of human civilization that had been hiding for over 2 centuries. The situation is beyond anything we have ever faced, declared Council Leader Rex, her voice echoing through the chamber. A species has developed technology far beyond our understanding while remaining completely invisible to us. Admiral Gex's report had shocked every government in the galaxy. Their defensive capabilities alone could change the balance of power across all known space. But more importantly, they have been watching us, learning from us, studying us without our knowledge for 200 years. Dr. Rin stood to address the council. Honored representatives, I have walked through their cities, spoken with their scientists, observed their culture. They are not a threat to galactic stability. They are a missed opportunity. A missed opportunity, questioned Ambassador Vex of the Altarian Empire. For 2 centuries, we have had neighbors who chose isolation over conquest, observation over aggression, learning over exploitation. They have developed technology that could revolutionize space travel, medicine, physics, and engineering. But more than that, they have maintained a civilization that values peace over power. The debate went on for hours. Some species demanded military action, fearing the security threat of an undetected civilization. Others pushed for economic punishment, viewing humanity's hidden observation as a form of spying. A few called for immediate cooperation, seeing the technological benefits humanity could provide. Some representatives were angry. "They have been spying on us for centuries," shouted Ambassador Cole. "How do we know they are not planning to attack us?" Others were frightened. "If they can hide an entire civilization, what else might be hidden in our galaxy?" worried Counselor Nex. But a few were excited. "Think of what we could learn from them," said Dr. Yell. "Their technology could solve problems we have struggled with for thousands of years." Meanwhile, in the compressed space-time of human territory, a similar debate was taking place. The Human Council met in a chamber that existed in quantum superposition, allowing representatives from all 43 star systems to participate at the same time, despite being separated by impossible distances. "The risks of exposure are enormous," argued Counselor Yunhee. "We have maintained our safety for over 2 centuries. Why throw that away now?" Commander Jiho presented the Confederation's formal proposal. "Because isolation that was once protection has become a prison. Our children are growing up in artificial realities, never experiencing the natural universe. Our scientists are developing solutions to problems we are not allowing ourselves to face. Our culture is becoming frozen." "And what are the alternatives?" asked Counselor Daehyun. "Partnership," Jiho replied. "The Confederation has offered equal status, shared technology exchange, and mutual defense agreements. They are not asking us to abandon our security. They are asking us to trust them with it." The human debate was just as intense as the alien one. Some humans wanted to remain hidden forever. "We are safe here," said Counselor Minji. "Why risk everything for people we do not know?" Others wanted to take the chance. "We are dying slowly in our beautiful prisons," argued Dr. Hyun. "Our children deserve to see real stars and meet real aliens." The elderly grandmother Hana spoke for many when she said, "I have lived my entire life in fear. I want my great-grandchildren to live in hope instead." The vote in both the Confederation Council and the Human Council was very close, but the result was the same: cautious hope for an impossible future. 6 months later, the first joint Human Confederation research station was built at the boundary of compressed space. The red warning beacons that had marked forbidden territory were replaced with new signs that read, "Human Confederation Cooperative Zone. Welcome to tomorrow." Dr. Rin stood on the observation deck of the new station, watching as human children met their first alien friends while young Confederation scientists learned to navigate compressed spacetime. The universe had become a smaller, more connected place. The station was a marvel of combined technology. Human space-folding techniques allowed it to be much larger inside than outside. Confederation gravity systems provided comfortable environments for dozens of different species. Together, they had built something neither could have created alone. "Dr. Rin," came a familiar voice. Commander Jiho joined her at the observation window, where they could see both the folded space of human territory and the natural starfield of the galaxy beyond. "Any regrets, Commander?" she asked. Jiho watched a group of mixed human and alien children playing in the station's common area. Their laughter echoed through spaces that existed in multiple dimensions. A human girl was teaching an alien boy how to fold paper into impossible shapes, while an alien child showed humans how to sing in harmonics that their throats could not naturally produce. "Only that we waited so long to discover that the universe is far less lonely than we believed," he replied. Beyond the station, space itself seemed different now. Not empty void between distant points, but a vast network of possibilities where hidden wonders waited to be discovered. The red warning markers were gone, but their message lived on in a new form. Humanity had finally stopped hiding and started hoping. In the months that followed, amazing things began to happen. Human children saw their first real stars. Alien scientists learned to work with folded space. New technologies emerged that neither species could have developed alone. Most importantly, both civilizations discovered that friendship was possible, even across the vast differences between species. The galaxy had become a more interesting place,